Hey there, aspiring guitarists. Let's talk about guitar chords and their root notes. Some people call them bass notes. I've heard discussion of the root notes of a chord go all over the place with people applying things that just aren't right about how do you know where the root note is. Well, let's talk about a chord. That's an A major chord. Now remember, I've got a whole chart about how to read chord diagrams. So we need to learn that. But remember up here at the top, X means you do not play the string. O means you play it open. It's not fretted. So let's take that A major. Here's my noted guitar neck. And let's put an A chord up there. Here we go. All right, there's you an A major chord. So notice what's going on. We don't play the top string, but we do play the next string open. Now, that's the root note. Well, what is that note? It's an open string. Well, there's our strings E, A, D, G, B, E. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears. Elephants and dogs grow big ears. Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. This is important. We've done this before and had people just laugh at us and say how stupid that is. I don't care. I've been using it for 52 years to teach and it works. If you got a better acronym, use it by all means. I love a good acronym. But anyway, here's your A chord again. It's nothing more than the second fret. There's different ways to play that A chord. This is using the second, third, and fourth finger. I sometimes teach it this way with the first finger there and then splitting them. But that's irrelevant. What we're trying to find out is what the root note is. So a lot of people will say, well, the root note is always the one at the top above the last highest finger fretted. They say that other ways too. Well, that's partially right. The root note is the lowest note in the scale of the chord. And it's normally what the chord is named. This is an A chord. Well, this isn't played. The sixth string is not played, but the fifth string is. The fifth string is A, and it's a A major chord. So that's the root note, all right? Well, let's move on. A lot of people don't like to fool with B because B's play with the bar chord. But let's just talk about that for a second. The B is, let's look at it. You do not play the sixth string, but you play the fifth string, and it's barred on the second fret. Well, let's look at that bar. If you were to bar the second fret, what is that top string? It's a B note, just like the name of the chord, your root note of the chord. All right, let's talk about C, a good old C major. All right, look at the sixth string. All right, remember, you got to learn how to read these chord diagrams. So you've got to know that this E, A, D, G, I'm down here at the bottom, B, E. From the top of the guitar, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 is the one closest to the floor. 6 closest to the ceiling. You gotta learn that. I have videos on that. But anyway, once again, the sixth string is not played. See the X? So the next string that's played is the fifth one in the third fret. Well, let's take a look at that. Let's get our magic loose neck and let's put up a good old C major chord. Well, it's showing you the same thing. The sixth string is not played. The next string played is the fifth, and it's this note here in the third fret. I'm going to remove this. What do you think that note's going to be? If you guess that this note, the lowest note, remember the lower notes are up here on the top strings because of the low pitch. High notes are down at the bottom. When we talk about a high note and a low note, you're talking about the pitch. You know, a high note, a low note, you know. So what do you think? This is a C major chord. This is the lowest note. When I remove this, what's going to be under 3? Do you think it's going to be C? You would be right. That's your root of C. You ought to be catching the drift. Maybe we won't do every one, but now let's do a good old D major. All right, look at this chord diagram. It is showing the fourth string is played open. The fourth string is open. What do you want to bet that fourth string is a D? Well, you know it is. Elephants and donkeys, elephants 6 and 5, donkeys 4. Let's look at a D major. Let's put up our magical chord. There we go. There's your D major. First fret's here, second fret, third fret. All right. Right there is the lowest fretted, played with the first finger. But you also strike the fourth string open. So what do you want to bet? That the open fourth string is, of course, D. Elephants and donkeys. I'm going to do one more. I think we've probably driven this home. So an E major. Okay, now this is the one where I saw people say, well, you see, on an E, it's the one above the highest one that you pushed. And what they were trying to say was that the root is always one above the top finger fretted. Well, that's just not true. We just proved that with the other chords. So the sixth string is played open. We know what that sixth string is. We've been talking about it. It is an E. So if we throw up our magic chord, and it's going to show us that you play the sixth string open, and that sixth string is an E. Once again, it's the root note is the name of the chord. All right, let's skip F and let's jump to G, and let's drive this home. There's your G. All right, now this one throws people because they see 1, 2, 3, but remember the 2 is just which finger you're using. It is the lowest note. So let's throw this G up here. And what do you think is going to be this lowest on the sixth string? When I remove this card, what do you think is going to be there for this G major chord will be the note here, the lowest note. If you said G, you would be correct. So, for open chords, the root note, and you'll see them in the chord diagrams. They'll show you. They'll put X's where they don't want you to play. So you got to learn these chord diagrams. And once you learn them, and you learn E, F, G, A, B, C, there's that half step, D, E, and then F. Once you learn these things, that's going to take you so much further. Even if you never fool with scales, learning that, learning what the root note of a chord is, that it's the root note is going to be the name of the chord. So these are things that will help you down the road. So remember that. What is a root note? When you see the chord, sometimes they'll put an R, but sometimes they'll have an O. Sometimes they won't have an O. It just depends on the chord itself. So in other words, remember the C major chord? Well, the top string is not played. It's got an X. If you come across, you can see the X. The fifth string is played with the third finger on the third fret. Once again, third fret, 1, 2, 3, fifth string, C chord, and what is that note? A C. Okay, I hope that made sense. I know it was very simple. Some things are simple and they escape us because they were never explained to us. So, hey, hope you have a great guitar journey, and most of all, happy picking.